Parya from AdRoll here. I'm here with my friend Samuel Thimothy from OneIMS, and we're chatting about the funnel.
Yeah.
Nice to have you, Samuel.
Appreciate
Thanks for being here.
opportunity. Yeah.
Would love to hear a little bit about, from your perspective, a lot of the friction that our customers and prospects talk about today is really the decline we're seeing across the funnel, but really starting at the top, especially with AI. There's been a decline in traffic overall. What are some of the strategies and tactics that you suggest to your customers as an agency?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you still have to know your audience. You got to know your persona, and you need to know they're paying more than they can describe it themselves. And you still need to create content. But the biggest shift that we're seeing is content creation is no longer just in one format.
Yep.
You got to create it across all sort of content format, right? Written, video, audio, images, any format that you can actually create content where your customers are consuming that information. You want to create and distribute it, get as much reach as possible, because sometimes the organic reach is not there. So you want to find some way to supplement that reach by using any other mediums or ad platforms that you can use to do that. So content creation is still part of the game, but it's just the way that people are consuming and accessing it has evolved a lot, because they're able to find the answers mostly by just using any sort of AI platforms.
Yep. And
they're finding answers much rapidly than they typically do by just going to a search platform like Google or YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. And are you seeing the content curation or the way that the content is being developed, has that evolved to align more to answer optimization on the AI side of things?
Yeah, so a majority of our clients are still very heavily focused on search-driven content strategy.
Yep.
Because we have a lot of manufacturing and software space customers that they're targeting very sophisticated engineering type of personas. So they are still creating very highly technical content. For reason, we still have to create highly technical content, but in terms of the content type, we're experimenting a lot of different formats, because depending on the age group that they're trying to attract, some people might prefer to watch some short form video than probably reading a 15 or 20 page technical guide, because they'd rather get the insider information much rapidly. But I'm also seeing where people are downloading spec sheets and guides and uploading to AI platforms to get summaries, because they still value the insights from a company, but they just don't have the time to spend on watching or reading a long-form content piece.
Yeah.
So people are becoming more lazy in some sense.
Yeah, no, that truly is. That's the case. That's what AI does to us.
Yes.
And we see that engagement at the top of the funnel. From there, to your point, you have the content engagement. You get that. You build that base at the top of your funnel. Engaging that base from there through different forms of advertising. What are some of the tactics that you're seeing, some of your customers leveraging from an advertising perspective to help build that brand awareness and build on some of that demand that you're generating with the content?
Yeah, repurposing and trying to increase the reach. We certainly are using boosted content in multiple different formats. Certainly LinkedIn platform is one of the primary channels that we're using. We're also experimenting with a lot of Google products, especially with the discovery ads on YouTube is one of the means that we're using. Those are primarily the ways that we're using teaser content, right? So if it's a long form content, taking some really good nuggets and then trying to get people to discover that, and then hopefully that leads them to wanting to consume the full length portion, whether that's on a podcast or a long form video on YouTube. Our goal is just as much reach and discovery to build a brand awareness. So hopefully that brand awareness leads to possibly some inquiry and ultimately leads to a sales conversation.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's similar to, we're employing some of those strategies here actually on the AdRoll side of things too, internally from a marketing perspective, but we've also recently layered on CTV as a channel that we've been really leveraging as a form of brand awareness to build that brand awareness, and we've been seeing a ton of success to be able to get that engagement and really resonate and build your brand affinity with your prospects. Because at the end of the day, especially when someone sees their brand on a screen, it resonates stronger, and there's more of an emotional connection that you see through versus other channels.
Yeah,
so we're definitely seeing that.
Most certainly, and I think the biggest difference is that B2B has not leveraged CTV a lot in the past. So I think this is like a brand new channel that you're using, because all the other platforms are getting a little saturated, right? I'm sure you see that with LinkedIn or any of those platforms where the performance have declined tremendously, and people are just kind of tuning them off. So I think this is also giving them an opportunity to reach a wider audience and build brand awareness a little bit faster.
That's great. What are one or two pieces of advice that you would say OneIMS would give prospects and anyone tuning in today?
Yeah, so I think from a content creation standpoint, what we're seeing actually working really well, as answer engines are giving more summaries, you want to create interactive tools that gives them a reason to leave any sort of answer engine platforms and come to your website. So think of creating ROI calculators, think of creating product recommendation tools, think of creating anything that is of value where they can get some sort of a resource that they can either share internally between their peers, whether to help them do their job better or to get some sort of an insight. Start thinking of creating those things, because what you don't want, people just get the answers on an answer engine. Yep. They're like, oh, I have everything I need, I don't need anything else. But if you can give them a reason to leave that platform, come to your website and do something there, now all of a sudden you have an opportunity to probably convert. So for example, we've created an ROI projection calculator. So what we allow our prospects to do, they come in there, they can tell them how many sales team that they have, how many leads that they need to produce to actually fill their meeting calendar, what's their revenue target, what's their marketing investment, and based on that we give them a projection. And then at the end of that ROI projection, they'll get an option. Do you want to share this with your team? So we'll ask them for their email and then their team member's email address, and then we'll say save this ROI projection so you can come back and edit it. So we're using no-code tools to create those sort of ROI projections, and we've seen a tremendous amount of conversion because we're giving so much value by just having them play around with it to see, okay, we want to add another $5 million in top line revenue in the next 12 months. We have 4 reps, and how do we fill the pipeline so that they have enough opportunity to do that? So they're able to do those competition without having to have some Excel spreadsheets or anything. But we're also in the process generating a ton of inquiries. And so we know companies that are pretty aggressive in growth are also interested in talking to a firm like us, because they see, oh wow, our goal is not going to be met by whatever our current strategies. We may need to talk to somebody else. And well, we also are empowered to go have very intelligent conversations. Say, hey, I saw that you ran this ROI projection. I'm just curious to learn what's your pipeline looks like. Where are you struggling most, or do you have a strategy in place for creating demand or driving demand, right? And then we're able to have such sales conversation, but we're also informed enough to go in there to help. So we're not just having a cold conversation. So
that's great.
Creating tools that making a prospect find value in coming and visiting your website.
That's great, and it's great advice to be able to have a tool that connects you beyond AI. How do you continue that demand after they get those answers and those insights to ensure that the conversation continues and you continue moving your prospects through the funnel?
100%.
That's great.
Yeah.
Samuel, it was so wonderful chatting with you today.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one.